Before we get into the meat of it, this episode ended up being recorded as longer than I like them to be. I like them to be about 20 minutes because attention span is short these days. So we're splitting it up into 2 episodes. We'll have season 1, top of the second, and that will be the loophole segment of the episode, and then we'll have season 1, bottom of the second, and then we'll get into the cheating segment in youth baseball. So enjoy, and a quick shout out to my son who designed the logo, and for Father's Day he surprised me with putting it on this hat here. So thank you, kid. I appreciate it. I love you, and let's get into it. So I got to tell you a little something. First, let's do the riddle. You guys love the riddle. So here's the baseball riddle. And I'm going to check my notes here. I'll get to that in a second. Why is the baseball field hot after the game? The answer to that is, of course, on deck. I'll get to that. Kind of a little teaser to force you to listen to the whole episode or watch the whole episode, because I know the only reason you watch and listen to these episodes is just to get the answer to the riddle or the pun.
This is Baseball Ready, the podcast.
All right, my wife. My wife is a bit opinionated. And after the first 2 episodes were done, she had her opinion of how this podcast is going. And she says, you need to look at the camera more. You need to not read your notes. And I said, listen, so yes, I admit I write down, or I did in the past, write down what I was going to say, and I tried to ad-lib it and read it as a script. But the problem is when I look at the script, I have to look off to the side. She says, no, you need to talk to the audience more. I said, you know what? Okay. So instead of writing sentences on my script, I have bullet points. So yes, I am not going to read the script off of the page. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to refer to my bullet points, except at the end. I do my takeaway at the end. It's called getting down to the baseline. That is something that's pre-written, and I'm going to read that, whether my wife likes it or not. So she says, you need to be more like Mike the weather guy. I think that's who it is. And I'm like, you and Mike, the weather guy, it's like, what's going on between you two? So there's this dude who started a podcast or started streaming a while back, and she will watch him for hours, and she's like, you just got to be yourself. He just sits there and he doesn't read off of a script or anything, and he sits with his cat on his lap. And first of all, I'm not a cat guy. I'm not sitting with a cat on my lap, and I've got my dog usually over to my left over here, but I'm not going to sit with him on my lap because he's 83 pounds. So my wife is a bit of a weather nerd. We call her Hurricane Elaine. And she loves this guy, Mike the weather guy. And let me tell you, this guy, he's on to something. If I can be half as successful as he is with his streaming and podcast and online presence, then I'll be doing well. And he's better than a lot of meteorologists. So shout out to Mike the weather guy. God, I hope I got that name right. I've got to be a little more compelling. So I'm going to take her advice. And speaking of her being a weather nerd, I have a little convergence of baseball and weather at the same time. So I'm going to play this clip from a YouTube video. This is courtesy of Storyful Viral on YouTube, and it's called Umpire Saves Little League Player Caught in Dust Devil. I'll have to ask Mike, the weather guy or dude, what a dust devil is, but obviously this is what it is. Here, take a look. I think this is at a Little League game. Kid's up to bat. He's in the batter's box. Check that out. A freaking tornado, a dust tornado, encapsulates this kid. Umpire comes. Here, listen. Just listen. You hear Saved his life, man, or something to that effect. Yes, the plate umpire, who actually wasn't behind the plate, he was off to the side. I don't know how he's judging balls and strikes. I didn't realize if it was coach pitch or not. I'll have to look back at it, but sorry about the blank screen. So it was really cool, and there was a lot of sarcastic comments of heroism, but that was pretty cool. So there you go, Hurricane Elaine. That was a dust devil that was caught on a camera. I don't know if it was a Game Changer camera or what have you, but yeah, that was pretty cool. So there you go. So I'm just gonna glance at my bullet points. I'm not gonna read a script, and I'm gonna get down to what this episode is all about. Top of the second, Run Rabbit Run. It's cheating versus loopholes. Life is a baseball lesson. Baseball is a life lesson. So when you are involved in a baseball team, especially a youth baseball team, you're learning life lessons. You're learning patience. You're learning failure. Lots of failure. There is so much failure in baseball, especially youth baseball. But across the board, there's failure in sports. There's failure in life. So in life, there's cheating and there's loopholes. And what we're going to do is differentiate between the two, because I'll sign off on some baseball loopholes, and I've practiced some of them myself. But what we're going to do is start with loophole baseball. My wife, I coached my older one from when he was about 4 or 5 years old, all the way through until he was playing more advanced travel ball in high school. And we have 2 boys. They're 4 years apart. And while I was focusing on the older one, I said, we agreed that both my wife and I need to be involved with both boys as much as possible. So I said, why don't you coach the younger one? So she was the T-ball coach when he started at 4 years old, and then moved up to coaching him in coach pitch. And then what happened after that, he graduated to kid pitch, and she didn't want to handle or deal with the pitching management, so I kind of took over managing the team, and we went on from there. But while she was coaching, especially so in T-ball, everything's great. You got these cute little kids, some of these kids are like the size of gummy bears running around the field, the cutest things, and the parents are great, and it's like, oh. Then you move up to coach pitch, and that's where the insanity starts. The coaches are insane. The parents are insane. It's just absolute chaos. Competitive. My wife and myself, extremely competitive. And there are some people that are going to be guests on this show that will vouch for that. Competitive to the point where, it got out of hand. However, one of the things that we've always done is respect the game of baseball. With that, not all of the other coaches respect the game. A lot of coaches, not in necessarily in our league, a lot of coaches everywhere, in every sport, they like to cheat the system because all they want to do is win. It's all about winning. I don't know what kind of failures they had as a kid growing up or in life or whatever, but this is where they're volunteering to be a coach, and they will do whatever it takes to win. So there was this one coach that would do this tactic that was just like, what are you doing? How are you teaching the kid baseball? And he would say, hey, it's run, rabbit, run. Run, rabbit, run. And we're like, so that's what we're doing here. So what that means is the way he played, and Run Rabbit Run has turned into a term, at least locally here, for us, and it is what it is. It's not cheating. This is what I consider a loophole. There are no singles in this type of baseball. if a kid gets a hit, if he puts the ball in play, he runs. He runs, doesn't run through first base, break it down and stop or peel off to the right or whatever. They round first and go to second and hope to turn it into a triple, maybe even a home run. So here's the deal. You're taking advantage of weakness. You're taking advantage of kids that were those little gummy bear-sized kids on the field who are now in coach pitch and they can't necessarily field a ball. So you have coaches that take advantage of that. In my book, in baseball, a single is a single. Now, with errors, yes, you're going to take second base. When it's a legitimate error, when it's just the kids are not developed enough to properly field a ball, are you going to teach your kids to take advantage of that? There's two schools of thought on it. You can do it, or you don't have to. And I'll explain in just a moment what we do between regular season and playoffs. So a kid puts the ball into play, an infield hit, like not necessarily not a hit. The ball is hit to the infield. Shortstop fields it, bobbles it, tries to pick it up, whatever the case may be. By that time, kid is 3/4 of the way to first base. It's probably going to end up being an error. He'll get on first base. But what happens in this run rabbit run tactic is you're just going to assume he's not going to clean field the ball. He's going to either airmail it as he's throwing to first to get the out, even if he's got the ball ahead of the runner. So look at this scenario. Kids, the batter runner, it's called the batter runner, the kid who hits the ball and is running to first base. He hits it, runs, ball is fielded, bobbled, whatever the case may be, bad throw to first base. So in Run Rabbit Run, he's rounding first and on his way to second. In the meantime, the first baseman can't can't field the ball because it's either in the dirt, in the air, or he misses it. Maybe it's a good throw and he misses it, or she, and the ball ends up rolling back to the fence. What's it going to do? It's going to keep rolling to the fence because what's right field doing? Right field is picking daisies or playing in the sand. So first base has to run after the ball, go to the fence. At this point, the runner is 3/4 of the way to second. And what does the first baseman who runs and chases the ball, picks up what does he do? He throws it to second. Kid's already there, air mails it, whatever. If it's caught, he's already there. If it's not, he takes third and then overthrow. Stop throwing the ball around. You hear the parents screaming, and then the kid makes a home run on what should be an out at first. So then you've got some in-house rules where a local league might say, all right, coach pitch, these kids are just developing. They're coming up from T-ball. One base on an overthrow. So basically, you're almost always going to hit a double. You're always going to not hit a double, but you're going to make it to second base. Because if it's overthrown again, they're going to send the runner back if he runs back. So there's a loophole. Let's take advantage of small children who don't know how to field a ball just yet because they just started learning how in play. So you can do that. So what we always did, my wife, myself, the way we would develop our kids is if it's a single and the ball is hit, we would make sure it's a legitimate single and make sure that the batter runner stays at first base. However, if we're playing against a team that's very competitive and it's a meaningful game that has something to do with getting us seeding in playoffs or whatever, we're going to play on the level that the other team is playing. We're going to play that loophole baseball if the other team is. If it's a respectful coach that respects the game of baseball and a single is a single, then yes. But we're not going to take advantage of it when we don't need to because that is teaching our kids nothing. Nothing. All right, so what's another loophole in baseball? So as the kids go up, they start playing kid pitch. and you can steal and lead off, whatever. Baiting a balk. I don't know. So we have now another level of baseball where kids are coming from coach pitch, or kids are first, learning how to deal with leadoffs. And we would always play this one coach. I'm not going to name any names. I have respect for this coach, and his son grew up to be a heck of a baseball player. He's playing in high school now. And whenever this coach had a runner on third, he would bait a balk. Nothing against the rules to doing this. If anything, the defense is, well, we're teaching your pitcher to not balk. But what happens is you have a pitcher who is in his first season of pitching, and you've got these kids that are told to start running as if they're stealing home and baiting a balk. It's taking advantage of weakness in the game. And again, it's not a tactic that I would really do at that level, but there were teams that did, not against the rules. It's okay to do it. Is it good sportsmanship? Not necessarily. Especially if at the plate meeting the coaches say, listen, these kids are 9 years old, and they're just coming up from coach pitch, and they're just kind of getting settled in. At that point, it's just kind of a gentleman's agreement to let's not play loophole baseball. But it's okay if you do. There's no rule saying you can't. So we talked about baiting balks. Stealing signs. Listen, it's another thing, taking advantage of weakness. If you've got a catcher that doesn't know how to properly signal his signs to the pitcher, and you've got a runner on second base, and he figures out what the signs are, what pitches the pitcher's going to throw, and then the kid gets back in the dugout and says, hey, this sign is fastball, this sign is changeup, whatever. Not against the rules. Now, in some situations, you might have an umpire that says, no, we're not doing that. We're going to put a stop to it. There's some in-house rules in some leagues that might say stealing signs is against the rules and there will be consequences for it. So stealing signs with the naked eye, I say, it is what it is. Using technology, on the other hand, that's cheating. That's no bueno. Not good. Not good. So when I say technology, my older son, I'm a small guy. If you listen to the last episode, I'm a short umpire. I'm a short coach. I'm a short dude. So with that said, my sons are not the tallest, tools in the shed or light bulbs in the socket or whatever this is saying, not the sharpest tool in the shed, not the tallest blade of grass. This is going off the rails, isn't it? But so one of his heroes in baseball, going way back, not way back, but was Jose Altuve. So he's a big fan of the Houston Astros. He wasn't a bandwagon fan when they were awesome at the beginning, but he was not very proud when they used technology to cheat, or allegedly. I don't know if it was all proven. I'm assuming it was proven, but Jose did not want to rip off his shirt, or he didn't want his teammates ripping off his shirt because I think it was going to reveal some kind of mechanism that gave taps to his chest electronically to let him know what pitch was coming in. This was after he hit a home run, but he was powerful enough to hit a home run organically. But I guess they decided to cheat. All right, playing the clock. In baseball, there is no time limit. There's no. It's not like soccer with the periods or quarters or with hockey or whatever. There's no clock. But there is in youth baseball. No new inning after an hour and 45 minutes. So with that said, let's say no new inning after an hour and 45 minutes. speeding up the clock, speeding up the game, in your favor. So the clock is running out and you're ahead and you are moving faster to get the game in your favor, to get the game played in your favor based on time. So, for instance, you're speeding up the game to end it so the other side will not have an opportunity or time to either get their at bat or get a run in, what have you. It's one of those loopholes. It's one of those loopholes that you don't have in real baseball, but coaches use it to their advantage in youth baseball, speeding up the game in your favor or slowing the game down in your favor. This is a little bit so speeding up the game. It's like, little Johnny has already had enough warm-ups on the mound. Just let's get going. Let's get the batter in so we can get the 3 outs and get our ups again. Because if you don't get those 3 outs and the time runs out, that's it. You're done. So sometimes it's not so great for the arm health because they're not getting proper warm-ups or whatever because you're speeding up the game. All right, slowing the game in your favor. That's when you have a coach that little Johnny's shoelaces are untied. Let me go untie that, or let me go tie them up, and you spend time ticking the clock away, wasting whatever time you can, slowing the game down. It's a tactic. It's a loophole. It's not cheating. It's not breaking the rules unless in-house there's something with. Oh, sorry about that. I should have put my phone on vibrate. It's something that unless the house rules, say, you can't use the clock to your advantage. I've never seen that. Hidden ball trick and fake tags. Fake tag, for instance, this doesn't really work, but you're basically duping the umpire. Let's say the base umpire's out there, and you do a fake tag on a player, and the umpire is fooled and thinks that it was a legitimate tag, like you had the ball in the glove. He calls it out. The problem is that can be called back, and the other problem is it could be considered obstruction because you're causing a situation that can fall under the category of obstruction. Hidden ball trick. Let me just read this. I'm going to look and I'm going to read a sentence here, even though it's bullet points, because I have to refresh my memory as to what I put down here. Deception is a valuable tool used by players to gain an advantage over opponents. While many forms of deception are legal and part of the game's strategy, some actions are considered cheating or unsportsmanlike conduct. The hidden ball trick. I see it more in college than anywhere else, but I see some travel teams and some youth rec teams practicing the hidden ball trick. This is, I say, is okay in the circumstance of, if it's executed well, of course, when you have a tight game and you are just trying to get that run in, or you're trying to get that out. Do whatever you can to keep yourself with that one run lead. So the hidden ball trick is practiced quite a bit, not always executed well. So we were 9U travel, and there was this team that notoriously did it every game against every team. So it's kind of like it was expected. But at this point in my son's travel career, he wasn't expecting it. And this team would do it every time, regardless of what they could have like a 6-run lead over you, and they're still going to try to execute it. I don't know why. So they tried it, and there was a lot of confusion, and they had gotten one of our players, but my son was he was a runner on second base, and they did the trick. He was off the bag. He went right back to the bag, and I'm like, it fooled me. I actually thought the ball was sailing off to the outfield. I said, why didn't you run when you thought the ball got loose? And he said, because I saw the ball tucked in his glove under his arm. So it wasn't executed well, but I thought it was pretty cool that he didn't fall for it. And future games against that team, we just expected it every time. Not cheating. Is it unsportsmanlike? I think it depends on the situation. I think it depends on how tight the game is. All right, here was the riddle. Why is the baseball field hot after a game? Why is the baseball field hot after a game? Because all the fans left. The fans were keeping everybody cool.
Be sure to subscribe to keep listening to awesome episodes of Baseball Ready. You can see us on YouTube and listen on your favorite podcast platform like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and many more.